Okay, so the next part of our statement is talking about false experience still, and it's experience that results from a course of indulgence, thoughtlessly and often ignorantly followed. Okay, so the past example, or the last example that I gave, dealing with someone drinking a beer every morning, that can also apply. It can be a habit, but it can also just be indulgence. But it doesn't have to be something that you repeat. You know, a habit is just a repeated activity that isn't actually done for the purpose of experiment. You're not repeating it for the sake of discovering something about it. You're repeating it more because of tradition, or personal preference, or whatever it may be. So a course of indulgence, thoughtlessly and often ignorantly followed. Okay, so someone may end up doing something even without really thinking it through. Like, okay, I'm gonna go and take a whole bunch of LSD. Well, someone might do that and end up having an experience that they thought was very wonderful, and they may have no negative health effects or anything like that from it, and conclude, hey look, I experienced it and I know it's good. Is that really genuine experience? Well, it's not conducting experiments. You know, you can experience anything and it doesn't mean it's true, and LSD is an excellent example. You could have an LSD trip and you think that you're the king of the world. And then, well, your trip is over and you find out, no, you're not really the king of the world. Your experience was totally an illusion. You know, to give an example that more people can relate to, dreams. You can have a dream and you can experience something, you can go through something in your dream, but is it a genuine experience? Do you actually gain real knowledge from it? Not usually. You know, with dreams, you could go through something that can feel very real. You can touch things, taste things, smell things, see things, hear things. You can have all this experience and then find out that it was all an illusion. That shows you that just going through something. And by the way, yes, dreams are experiences which do not always correspond to the real world. But even in an awake state, we have experiences that don't correspond to the real world. We see a mirage and we interpret it to be something that it's not. Well, there's many things that, you know, sometimes you look at something and on first glance it looks like one thing, and then you kind of blink and come to and, oh wait, no, that's something else. You know, we alter things through our senses. Also, even hearing things in different languages. People group sounds together. In certain Oriental languages, there's two different consonants that to us Westerners, they both sound just like t, the T sound. T. But to an Oriental person who speaks one of these languages, it's as distinct as p and b. Just distinct. You know, you can tell the difference very easily. But for us we can't, because we have grown accustomed to grouping sounds together in a certain way. And there's certain sounds that people from other cultures, other than Western cultures, will not be able to distinguish, which in Western cultures we can distinguish very easily. This is because all of us are filtering out selectively a lot of reality and grouping the parts that we don't filter out into little sections. And those sections don't always correspond to the way things really are. Now that shows us that our experience of just taking things in through the senses is not entirely reliable. Now mind you, taking things in through the senses is our only option. That's all we have. We don't have other options. There's no knowledge that can be gained independent of the senses, absent of the senses. There's no way to do that. And again, the videos that we have called Understanding Knowledge explains that. So you can go and check out those videos if you haven't. But the thing is, we can, by using our senses, come to determine the inaccuracies within our sensory perception. I mean, the example that I gave, people discovered that. And, well, it's a good thing, really. In modern times, we have technology that we can use to enhance certain senses. You have telescopes, you have microscopes. These can be used to enhance our senses. It's not independent of the senses, but it enhances our senses and makes us able to correct our misperceptions. So again, all this is so very important, but I mentioned this to say, just going through something, just seeing something or hearing something or feeling something does not necessarily accurately reflect the way things are. This is why there's a need to do a variety of careful experiments. Not to just have something that you call an experience, to go through a certain circumstance in which you feel certain things or hear certain things or see certain things. No, if you're not carefully and thoughtfully doing an experiment, you're not necessarily gaining any genuine knowledge. Your circumstance that you went through does not necessarily amount to genuine knowledge or genuine experience. And I know this is difficult for a lot of people, but this is the fact of reality, right? Because so many people have gone through different circumstances and they believe that they've gained genuine experience from that and true knowledge, but the knowledge which people supposedly gain is in conflict with the knowledge that other people supposedly gain through similar sorts of experiences. So again, we need to do careful experimentation in order to obtain genuine knowledge. This is so important in every aspect of life, whether it's learning the foods that we should eat, whether it's learning how much time we should spend doing different tasks, whether it's examining religious beliefs, whether coming to positions concerning the past, questions of history, whatever it may be, experiment is so vitally important. Gaining a genuine experience, which is knowledge derived from experiment. Not just any old thoughtless experiment, no. A variety of careful experiments. So again, this is so important. Let's move on to the next sentence here. There has not been a fair trial by actual experiment and thorough investigation with a knowledge of the principles involved in the action. Now that last part I think is so often missed, and it's so very important. We need to gain a knowledge of the principles involved in the action. The action being whatever action we are investigating. So again, we could give many examples in order to illustrate this. But what is this talking about? Having a knowledge of the principles involved in the action. I'll give an example here, and again, you can think of many others, and believe me, if you come across pseudoscientific theories, then you will have many examples. Pseudoscience, by the way, is something which looks like science, sounds like science, seems like science, but isn't genuine science. It doesn't follow proper scientific method, and thus does not result in proper scientific conclusions. So I'll give an example. There are many people out there making different claims, and I'll give an example of someone invented a certain bracelet that you are supposed to wear, and this bracelet is supposed to restore your energy in your body to a balanced state, and you will be stronger, you will have better balance, You may even be more intelligent. So, having this bracelet, well, people do experiments. They go and, you know, and this, I've seen this. It's actually, you can find it. This was tested by the James Randi Foundation. The James Randi Foundation tests supernatural claims and grants $1 million to anyone who basically succeeds in demonstrating their supernatural claim. Which, by the way, there has never been anyone who has succeeded in demonstrating such. So there's this guy, and obviously the people who go to do this, they believe that they can demonstrate it. So there's this guy, he had invented this bracelet, and, you know, basically what he had done is he invented this bracelet, and then he would try it with people. He would give it to someone, and they would put it on, and he would do muscle testing on them. Muscle testing is someone holding out their arm, another person comes and pushes down on their arm, and they try to keep their arm out, and if their arm drops or if their arm doesn't drop, that's supposed to indicate whether the treatment or the object or whatever it may be is working. So he would go and do muscle testing with these people, and he would push their arms, and what would happen is, oh well, once he would put the bracelet on them, or would have them hold the bracelet in their hand even, and he would push, and oh, it would be harder to push their arm down. He'd take the bracelet, and oh, their arm just drops, right? So that's what he considered to be an experiment, and many people looking at that would say, oh yeah, that looks like an experiment. Oh, that's got to be doing something, right? It's harder to push down on the arm. So he believed that this was valid. So he went to the James Randi Foundation and went to demonstrate his claim. And what happened is they did what is called a double-blind experiment. Double-blind experiments are designed to remove bias and prejudice from those involved in the experiment. So what they did is they had a number of these bracelets, but some of them were duds. They weren't his bracelet. It was just something else. But it felt like it. It looked like it. It seemed totally the same, but it didn't have this little part that he had inside of it, which was the part that was supposed to give them this improvement of energy. So they had these, and he, the guy who invented the bracelet, he was the one, he would take the people, and he would do muscle testing on them, and he didn't know which bracelets were the duds and which ones were his real bracelets. And the people who were to hold the bracelets, they didn't know which were his bracelets and which were the duds. So this is great. It's an experiment that removes prejudice, removes bias, removes the possibility of the placebo effect, which is when you're receiving something which is supposed to be a treatment but it really isn't, and just your belief that it is causes you to react in some way to it. People do this with sugar pills. That's a classic example of placebo. So you can look that up and find out more about it. So what they did, they went through, did this experiment, and what they found is he could not tell. It was just chance whether he happened to get it right. Oh yeah, he would push sometimes. Oh, it's really hard. That's got to be my bracelet. Well, sometimes it would be, sometimes it wouldn't be. It was totally inconsistent. Oh no, it drops down. That can't be my bracelet. Well, guess what? Sometimes it was, and sometimes it wasn't. But the point is, it was entirely inconsistent. It was just chance. Just chance. That showed that, really, the bracelet itself wasn't really doing anything. He just believed it was. And the placebo effect was there, and there's another thing called the ideomotor effect, which is where someone slightly changes their body posture or the movements that they make without even realizing it. So he would push harder or push from a slightly different angle that he wouldn't have to push harder, but their arm would drop easier. Different things like that. Subconsciously, this happens and people confirm their biases. So anyways, we're going to have to continue this on again in the next video. So I'm going to stop this one here and see you guys soon.